Hello, my name is Bill O'Donnell, and I want to thank Medway Cable Television for inviting me down to speak about the Registry of Deeds. I'm the Registry of Deeds, and it's an arm of government many people might not know much about, but when you think about it, the biggest asset most of us have are our homes. And the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, which is located at 649 High Street in Dedham, has been a place where documents that affect our homes and our businesses have been recorded since 1793. Medway is a part of Norfolk County. Norfolk County is comprised of 28 communities, and Norfolk County was established back in 1793 when Governor John Hancock, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, as governor, established Norfolk County. So when you think about the Registry of Deeds, there's plenty of history here in Norfolk County. And what we've tried to do at the registry is probably the same thing that was being done in 1793 when you think about it. The mission is probably the same, that the documents should be recorded, the documents should be recorded accurately and in good order, the documents should be protected, and these are the community land records, and that these community land records should be accessible to the public. So I was invited down to talk a little bit about what's been going on at the Registry of Deeds and some of the consumer issues like homestead, and I hope you find it informative. First of all, at the Registry of Deeds, we're very proud of the modernization initiatives that have taken place at the registry. As I said, the registry has been in Dedham since 1793. The mission might be the same, but the delivery of services is a lot different. When I first became register in 2002, there was a year's worth of mail sitting in boxes that needed to be recorded. There was backlogs. There was no email. There was no internet presence, internet land record research. And slowly over time, what we've done is try to implement modernization initiatives. And what I try to do is use my background. Yes, I've been in government. I was fortunate enough to grow up in Norwood. I went to Georgetown University down in Washington, D.C., and had the privilege of working for Congressman Joseph Moakley. I also, after graduating Boston College Law School, I'm a lawyer. I worked as an assistant district attorney for then Congressman Bill Delahunt, then District Attorney Bill Delahunt, and our former congressman. And so working in public service, I believe in the good of public service. When I got out of law school, I got involved locally. I ran as a town meeting member. In Norwood, we have a representative town meeting. I got elected to the planning board. So I saw a lot of the good of government. But I also, after my tenure as a district attorney, assistant district attorney, I worked in the private sector. I worked, had my own law practice where bills have to be paid and vendors have to be paid. So there's a lot of things I learned in the private sector, and that's what I've tried to do, is take a private sector thinking to a public agency, and that's why we implemented a lot of the modernization initiatives I'm about to talk about. The cornerstone was a new computer system, a new document management system that allowed instantaneous recordings to take place. So when you walk into the registry now, you get a receipt, you get a document, you get a document that has a book and page number, which outlines what's been recorded, and you get a receipt of what you paid for. And with that, with this instantaneous recording, we started to also address the backlogs. With the advances in technology, not only does it help in the public outreach that's available to you as a consumer, but it also helped our employees, where you have new computers brought in, new scanning equipment, and that has allowed us to keep up on the amount of documents. For instance, a couple of years there were 330,000 documents recorded in successive years, a tremendous amount of real estate activity and a lot of paperwork. When I became registered, the first book was 17,000. We're at over book 38,000. So there's a lot of documentation that gets recorded. You're welcome to come down to the Registry of Deeds at 649 High Street in Dedham. We're located across from the Gold Dome Superior Court. The building was established in 1903, and again, is a nice old building. But you're welcome to come in. It is not just for lawyers, not just for title examiners, not just for land surveyors. The building is open to the public. What we've done is put over 50 computers that are open to the public. people can come in and use those computers to do research. And as I mentioned, there's a tremendous amount of history here in Norfolk County. A lot of people want to look up documents because it affects their home. And again, we recognize that a big part of our economy is the real estate. But also, some people like to do genealogical research. Some people like to look up, who was living in their house and try to get the historical concepts and historical information related to their home. And again, Norfolk County is the county of presidents. There were 4 presidents born here in Norfolk County. We have John Quincy Adams, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and George Bush Sr. Was born in Milton. So again, a tremendous amount of history here in Norfolk County that is available to you by either coming down to the Registry of Deeds and using our computers, or what we're very proud of, for the first time in Norfolk County's history, we have Internet land record research. We've used the advances in technology to try to bring the registry's information, the registry's books, the registry's records into your homes and businesses. If you go on our website, www.norfolkdeeds.org, you can hit the button for online research and begin to do research. Now, if there are any issues, again, with computers, there are pop-up issues and things of that sort. The direct line to our IT department is 781-461-6131. And you can contact them and walk your way through it. But what we've tried to set it up is as if you were at the registry. In other words, if you come down to the registry, it's like a library. We're still one of the few registries that print books. You can go through that library and go through the books and look up all the documents. You can come by the registry at 649 High Street to use the computers to look up the information. And as a matter of fact, if you check our website, at the registry website, periodically we have educational seminars to teach people how to do the research and how to use the computers. Or you can just, from your home or business, go online and look up the information. And more information has been scanned in. In fact, if you enter Book 1, Page 1, the first document that was recorded back in 1793 is viewable. So efforts have been made to scan in all the plans and all the deeds and all the documents so that they're available to you. As I said, we have tried to make the community land records accessible. And when I say community land records, it could be the deed which you have in your name because you purchased your property. You might want to look up mortgages to see what you've borrowed and have those mortgages been paid off with mortgage discharges. Your community here in Medway, you have town boards that make decisions, and those decisions, whether it's a variance or whether it's an order of conditions from the Conservation Commission, get recorded at the Registry of Deeds. So there's a lot of information that's available, and there's a lot of information that you can look up online by going to www.norfolkdeeds.org. A lot of people ask me, well, how do you protect the records? As I mentioned, in many respects, we still do it the old-fashioned way. We're one of the few registries across the state. There's 21 registry districts. Norfolk County is one of the largest registry districts in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We still print the books, and we still print the indexes. We do it the old-fashioned way. However, we have the computers, and just so you know, our records are backed up. We do daily backups and we do weekly backups so that this information, when it's on a tape drive, gets sent to a renovated nuclear bunker in Rhode Island. We also microfilm the documents. By statute, we have to microfilm the documents that get recorded. That also gets sent to a facility, and that facility is in New York, Iron Mountain in New York. So if something happens, we have taken steps to preserve the records and to protect the records. Again, we have the books, we also have the microfilm, and we have the information on tape drive backup. Another, and again, trying to bring that private sector. I saw the good in government. I saw locally and at the county level what government can do well, and at the federal level when I worked for Congressman Moakley. But I've also tried to apply the business practices, and one of the things we're very proud of at Norfolk County is disaster recovery or business continuity planning. We've taken steps so that if something happens at the registry, and we hope it doesn't, that we can keep the operation going. For instance, we have a disaster recovery office that's off-site. It certainly will be a struggle, but again, when people need to get their deeds recorded and documents recorded, if you're waiting with the vans out there to move in, you want to make sure your deeds get recorded. We have an off-site premises from 649 High Street where we can record the information, and again, it would be a struggle, but we could keep the registry operational so that a very vital part of the economy, not just here in Massachusetts, but across the country, is real estate, that we can keep the real estate economy going here in Norfolk County. Another modernization initiative that we implemented was a generator. We were the first registry in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to put a generator in place so that, again, operations have not been interrupted, and with storms and some outages that have taken place, we still have the ability to keep the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds open and keep it functional. Now, I mentioned a lot of the modernization initiatives that we're very proud of that have taken place between the new computers for the employees that work there. And again, I have to tip my hat off to the employees. We're talking about a lot of these modernization initiatives, and some of you who are familiar with sports, there's no I in team. I have to thank my staff for not everyone embraces change, but change was embraced, and the modernization initiatives that we talk about and the good things that the Registry of Deeds is doing, it's doing because of the good employees we have working at the registry. So we have modernized the registry. We have brought the registry into people's homes and businesses. But you know, when you tell them, my dad worked for and retired. He climbed utility poles for the Boston Edison for 38 years. And I remember, you know, and he's still around. But you're telling him what's going on at work, and he says, remember, when you're doing this modernization and doing these computers, some of us don't know about computers, don't care to know about computers. So, you know, please remember that. Well, we have a customer service center. We know not everyone is, is handy with the computer. So if you come by 649 High Street, we have a customer service center that is open to the public. We have staff there and resources there that they can help you. If you need to get a copy of your deed, you need to look up whether you filed a homestead, you can come by 649 High Street and get the help that you need at our customer service center. Or you could call 781-461-6101. That's the direct line to the registry's customer service center. So we do provide customer service. That's very important to me, to make sure that, again, it's an arm of government many people don't know about, but we want to make sure that there is good customer service being provided to the residents in Norfolk County. One of the things that the computers have allowed us to do with the new computer system, we have an outreach program, and we're very happy to go out to the communities. As a matter of fact, we were out in Medway, and we have to thank the elected officials at Medway and the Medway town administrator they let us use Sanford Hall, and we conduct office hours. And what are some of the things we deal with? Well, these are some of the consumer issues that are important to all of us, and we might not think about it. As I mentioned earlier, the biggest asset we have are our homes. And if you want some good information, you can go to our website at www.norfolkdeeds.org and get information. If you're a first-time home buyer, or if you bought your house a long time ago and you're about to sell it, there's some good information and resources available for first-time home buyers. Some people are struggling with foreclosure problems. One foreclosure is too many. We're seeing a decrease in foreclosures. But if you know someone, or if you're struggling with foreclosure, we have on our website foreclosure assistance information. Again, there are some good nonprofit groups that provide services and provide counseling services that people might want to avail themselves of. We also have links and information from the Attorney General's office, from the Home Core program to other information that the Attorney General's office has put out that can help people that are struggling with foreclosure. When people come to our office hours, we have the ability, whether it's at the town halls, we've spoken at senior centers, we've spoken to local Rotary groups and Lions groups, we have the ability to look up information. We can take our computer and with the printers look up information. When people come in, some people just want a copy of their deed, and other people want to know if a mortgage has been paid off. We look up their mortgages and see if there's a discharge, which brings us to a couple of consumer issues. As far as mortgages, if you go on our website, we have a document that says, where has my bank gone? When you borrow money, a mortgage gets recorded. The lender is telling the world you owe money. But you want to make sure that when you pay that mortgage off, that a discharge has been recorded. A discharge is a 1 or 2 page document that tells the world that that mortgage has been paid off. And we see it a lot. A lot of times people come in and say, wait a minute, I paid that off 20 years ago. But they're involved in a closing, and the closing attorney is saying, well, you might have had it paid off 20 years ago, but there's no mortgage discharge recorded. So I'm a big believer in community banking. You go to your local community bank and you can get your discharge. They'd look it up, they'd say, oh yeah, it has been paid off. Oh, here's an original discharge. Go to the registry and make sure it's recorded. But some banks have been merged, some have gone out of business, so we have resources. The document, Where Has My Bank Gone, has some federal and state resource information, some federal and state websites that will help you track down that mortgage discharge. Other issues we see when we do community outreach, in fact, a couple of people today were meaning to record homesteads, and we actually took the information down, and the homesteads will be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. And you might say, well, what's a homestead? A homestead is part of the Massachusetts general laws. The state legislature has written a homestead law that gives people protections. The homestead is if a declaration of homestead is made, it protects your home. When I first became Register of Deeds, the protection was $300,000. It's been increased to $500,000. And in the past, the legislature has said if your homestead is valid, you don't have to refile it. You can keep, as long as your homestead is valid, you get the benefit of any increase, and maybe there'll be an increase again. It's important to know that there's been changes in the homestead law, and you should thank your state legislators because in 2011, for the first time in Massachusetts history, there's an automatic homestead. So if you don't do anything, you at least have an automatic homestead of $125,000 that gets a portion depending on ownership of the property. But for relatively modest filing fees, again, which is set by the state legislature, for instance, a $36 filing fee, and you declare an estate of homestead, you can get a $500,000 protection. And basically, it's whoever owns the property. If you and your spouse own the property, both of you sign the homestead, and you get the homestead is declared, and you get the benefit of what the legislature says, which right now is $500,000. And people say, well, why should I have a homestead? Well, in some ways, I think it's a good consumer protection issue. I think everyone should have a homestead recorded. Now, a homestead doesn't protect you against the bank. If you don't pay your mortgage, it's in the statute, you can be foreclosed on. If you don't pay your local taxes, your property taxes here in Medway, they can take the property by tax title. And even if you have a homestead on, that doesn't protect you. But sometimes people get into credit card debt. Sometimes people get into a bad car accident and they don't have enough insurance. And what happens is the injured party is going to look to your assets to satisfy that judgment if they go to court, or to pay for the damages of that bad car accident. So I think it's important to have a homestead. You never think you need it, but it does give a certain level of protection. And as I mentioned, the biggest asset we have is our homes, and if someone got injured because of your negligence, they're going to look to all your assets, including your home, to satisfy their case. So it's well worth looking at getting a homestead. And we have handouts here at the Registry of Deeds. There's some information at your town halls, at the Medway Town Hall on homestead, or you can go online at www.norfolkdeeds.org and get information on the homestead and read through it and come to your own conclusion on whether you need a homestead. One thing I will say about the homestead, in our handouts here, we have homestead forms. Or if you go online, you can download the homestead form free. One of the scams that's been going on, and they sort of target the elderly, is they send letters saying that they can provide a homestead form to you for $15. Now, they're providing you the homestead form. They're not filling it out in any way. They're not doing any work for you. They're giving you a blank form for $15. So please do not fall prey to that scam. If you want a homestead form, you can call up our customer service department, or you can go online, or you can contact your local attorney, but do not pay anybody for just a blank form. And that reminds me of another scam that's been going on, and I know there's been some publicity in the Boston Herald, Channel 4, WBZ did, TV and radio did something. It's called the deed scam. And there are groups that will send letters soliciting you, the residents of Norfolk County and the residents of Medway, saying anywhere from $59 to $83, they'll get you a certified copy of your deed. First of all, when we go on our office hours, and we go all 28 communities, we have a presence in all 28 communities, we go by the town halls and conduct office hours, we'll certify a copy of your deed. We'll print it, we'll certify it as a courtesy at our office hours, but do not pay anyone, $59 to certify a copy of your deed. At the most, at the registry, it costs $2, and as I say, when we're at office hours, we do it as a courtesy. But again, the solicitations may be legal, but I think they're a fraud upon the consumer. I think they're taking advantage of consumers, and don't fall prey to it. And it's nice to have a certified copy of your deed. It's by no means, you're not legally required to have it. As a matter of fact, most of the time when you go to sell your house, people are going to look at the records at the registry, and the closing attorneys will take care of things. But if you want a certified copy of your deed, do not pay $59 for it. There's another group out there recently, they're charging $83, and they're not even giving you a certified copy of your deed. What they're doing, they're saying it's a Norfolk County processing fee. They're making it look like it's a document processing fee, and it almost looks like a tax bill. It almost looks like a real estate bill. And people are falling prey to this, paying them the $83, and they don't even get a certified copy of the deed. They just get a copy of the deed. So please don't fall prey to that scam. And we just feel bad for the consumers. We've taken steps to notify the state authorities, and as I said, although maybe some people think it's legal, I think it's outrageous, and don't fall prey to it. At the registry, we're very proud to serve you, the residents of Norfolk County. If you have any questions on anything, please, you can contact me. Again, my name is Bill O'Donnell. It's been a privilege serving as Norfolk County Register of Deeds. You can contact the registry through the phone. My email is registerodonnell at norfolkdeeds.org, or you could just call. But the registry, I hope, and again, I want to thank Medway Cable. There's a lot of information out there. As I said, it's an arm of government many people don't know about, but when you think about it, it deals with a lot of important issues, and the biggest asset we have are our homes. So I'm hoping you've gotten a sense of what the registry is about, how we have taken steps to modernize the Registry of Deeds, and we will continue to do so. As a matter of fact, one of the new technologies is electronic recording. So you have attorneys here in Medway that can do a closing from their office. They don't even have to come to the Registry of Deeds. They transmit the closing package to the registry. They check online to make sure there's no outstanding liens in the deeds, in the closing gets recorded. So as much as I've been talking about a lot of these modernization initiatives, I'm sure there's going to be more coming, and we will continue to try to provide a good customer service, try to be effective using the improvements in the technology, and just trying to be a good government agency. And again, there's information out there, whether it's getting mortgage discharges for the mortgages that have been paid off, whether it's not falling prey to scams, whether it's taking advantage of the homestead law. There's a lot of information that if you go to our website, www.norfolkdeeds.org, I think you'll find it helpful. And again, I really thank you for giving me the time to explain about the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds.